I've had the big salary, the condo in DC, the German car. I've lived a life that looks impressive on paper, the one that makes your family proud, the one that says, you made it. You know what? It almost killed me. Not because those things are bad, but because they're not really me. They were what looked impressive, and maybe at some point I was supposed to want them, what would somehow prove that I had arrived or that I had made it or it would make me enough. It just wasn't me. Welcome to Guided. I'm Brenda Bertrand, and today we're talking about FOMO, about the cultural pressure to have arrived somewhere by now. We're going to talk about comparison, about the cost of living according to other people's expectations, and about the freedom, the radical, scary, beautiful freedom of letting all that go. Okay, there is this unspoken timeline we're all carrying, by especially women. By 25, you should have this. By 30, you should be this. By 40, you better have that. And whether it's a degree, a house, a career, a partner, kids, the promotion, the portfolio, the life that looks like you've figured it out. And if you don't, like if you're single at 40, or if you're child-free by choice, or if you're still renting when all your friends have purchased their first and, God forbid, second house, if you choose to travel over stability, if you drive an older car because you'd rather invest in experiences than impressions, then you can feel behind, like you've missed something, like everyone else got the memo and you're still trying to catch up. But here's what nobody tells you. Sometimes you had the thing and you arrived at the place and you checked all the boxes, and then it just stopped fitting. Not because you failed, not because you chose wrong, but because you changed, or the season changed, or what was right for you at 30 isn't right for you at 40. And now you're facing a different kind of pressure. Do I stay in the life that looks right but feels wrong? Or do I step out and redesign? FOMO, fear of missing out. But friend, it's deeper than that, isn't it? It's the fear of being wrong, or the fear that if you leave what everyone thinks you should want, that you'll regret it. Or maybe it's the fear that you're throwing away the good life for something uncertain, or the fear that people will think you're crazy or ungrateful or lost. And social media, it's gasoline on that fire. Everyone's highlight reel. Everyone's hitting their milestones, looking successful. Everyone's happy. And you're over here thinking, I had that and I walked away from it. Am I insane? I know, because I've been there. And I'm still there sometimes. Let me tell you about the choices I've made that don't make sense to most people. I'm single and I'm child-free by choice, because that's what's true for me, although I love children. And you know what that costs? Questions, constant questions. Why aren't you married? Don't you want kids? Are you seeing anyone? What's wrong? As if my life is incomplete, as if I'm waiting for it to start, as if I'm less than because I don't have what they think I should want. But I've had what I loved. I've lived overseas. I left the US when it would have been safer and more stable to stay. It was awesome. It was me. And you know what people said? That's risky. What about your career? You can't do that forever. When are you coming back to real life? As if adventure is a detour. As if exploring the world is irresponsible. As if the only real life is the one that looks like theirs. Okay, I drive an old car. And I mean it's old. It's paid in full. And here's the deal. Cars don't bring me joy, so I don't spend a lot of money on them. I'd rather invest in experiences, in curiosity, in trying things that make me feel alive. And of course, people notice, and they have things to say about it. You need a new car. Aren't you embarrassed? You can afford better, as if the car I drive says something about my worth. As if I should care what strangers think about what I'm driving. Every countercultural choice costs something. It costs approval. It costs fitting in. It costs people misunderstanding you. It costs having to explain yourself constantly. And some days that cost feels heavy. But here's what I've learned. The cost of living someone else's life is a greater cost. And too high a cost. Friends, I've had the big salary. I bought the condo in DC at the impressive address. I had the car that signaled I'd made it. And here's the thing. At one point, that was mine. And at one point, I felt called to all of that. And at one point, that life fit me. It was right for that season. But then something shifted. Not all at once, slowly, like waking up in a life that used to fit but doesn't anymore. The job that once energized me started draining me. The city that felt full of possibilities started feeling claustrophobic. The car, the condo, the whole picture, it started feeling like a costume I was wearing to keep everyone else comfortable. And so I had a choice. Keep living the life that gets the thumbs up, the likes on social media, the hearts, the approval, the wow, she's doing so well. Or step out of the vortex. Take the pill that moves me into the matrix that is my life by design. Because here's what I realized. A discerned lifestyle requires design against the status quo, against what everyone expects, against even what used to work for me. It wasn't that urban, cool life was wrong. It was right. It was so good for a season. But seasons change, and I changed. And at some point, it became clear, this isn't me anymore. And staying in it, even though it looked good, even though people were impressed, even though it was easier than explaining why I was leaving, that started feeling disingenuous, like I was performing a life instead of living one. So I let it go. Not because I failed, not because I couldn't hack it, but because it stopped fitting. And I was brave enough, or maybe desperate enough, to admit it. I left the high salary job. I took the risk. I chose simplicity. I chose curiosity. I chose adventure. Not for adventure's sake, but because exploring makes me feel like myself. And here's what I discovered. Enough is the sweetest place to be. Not more, not less. Enough. Enough money to live simply and invest in what matters. Enough adventure to stay curious. Enough solitude to hear my own soul. Enough connection to feel held. Enough freedom to say yes to what is mine and no to what's not. And that's not settling. That's not a lack of ambition. That's knowing what nourishes your soul and protecting it fiercely. And here's the wildest part. When I stopped competing with what I thought I should do and where I should be and started listening to what's true for me, I really stopped caring what people thought. Not because I'm cold, but because I finally understood everyone is really just thinking about themselves, not me, themselves. And the people I thought were judging my car, they're worried about their own lives. And the people I thought that were measuring my singleness, they're navigating their own marriages. Nobody's watching my life as closely as I think they are. They're too busy living theirs. And that's freedom. Let me tell you what Jesus says about all this striving, this arriving, this comparison. In Luke 12, there's this moment where someone in the crowd asks Jesus to settle a family dispute about inheritance, about who gets what, about fairness and arrival and having enough. And Jesus says, watch out. Be on your guard against all kinds of greed. Life does not consist in an abundance of possessions. And then Jesus tells the story, as only he can, about a rich man whose land produced a huge harvest, so much that he didn't have room to store it all. So what does he do? He tears down his barns and builds bigger ones so he can store everything. So he can say to himself, You have plenty. Take life easy. Eat, drink, be merry. He's arrived, right? He's made it, right? He has more than enough, right? But God says, you fool, this very night your life will be demanded of you. Then who will get what you've prepared? And here's what Jesus says. This is so interesting. This is how it will be with whoever stores up things for themselves, but is not rich toward God. That phrase stops me every time. Because what does it mean to be rich toward God? It's not about poverty. It's not about never having anything. It's about knowing what is enough. It's about knowing what nourishes your soul. It's about investing in what actually matters instead of what culture says should matter. The person in the story wasn't wrong for having a good harvest, but maybe he was wrong for thinking that the harvest was the point, for building his whole sense of security and identity and arrival around having more. And Jesus keeps saying things like this over and over. Don't worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or your body, what you will wear. Isn't life more than food, and the body more than clothes? Seek first the kingdom of God and God's righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. And come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Jesus is constantly inviting people off the treadmill, off the performance, off the striving and comparison and arrival. And into what? Into relationship, into presence, into co-creating a life that's uniquely yours with the one who made you. Jesus says it best, I came that you might have life and have it abundantly. Abundantly. Not necessarily more stuff or bigger barns. Abundant life. Life that feels like living. Life that nourishes your soul, life that's true to who you are and what you're called to. And when he says, my sheep hear my voice, I know them and they follow me, I'm just curious about that. I'm challenged by it. Follow me, not the culture, not the timeline, not what everyone else is doing. Follow me into the life I'm inviting you to co-create. One that's uniquely yours. And the one that might not make sense to anyone else. From the way I understand it, Jesus didn't have a house. He didn't have a career in a traditional sense. He wasn't married. He didn't have kids. He didn't arrive anywhere the culture recognized. He died young. He wandered. He taught. He loved people. He challenged systems. He invited others into freedom. And at the end, he said, it's finished. Not, I finally made it, or I've arrived. Just that it's finished. It's complete. It's enough. And I wonder if that's the life Christ is inviting me, inviting you into. Not the one that impresses people, the one that's true, the one that's enough, the one that's yours. So what does discernment have to do with all of this? Everything. Because discernment isn't just about choosing the right path once. It's about staying awake to when that path stops being yours. It's about being honest enough to say, this was right and now it's not. And I need to redesign. A discerned lifestyle requires design. Against the status quo, against the default, against even what worked for you before. It means stepping out of the vortex, the current that carries us along, the expectations, the timelines. We get to choose. Do I stay here because I'm comfortable, because people approve, and because it looks good? Or do I step into the life that's actually mine, even if it's uncertain, even if no one gets it, even if I have to redesign everything? What between me and God is right? What's good? What's enough? Not what was right 5 years ago. What's right now? And not what does the culture say I should have, but what nourishes my soul right now? And what makes me feel like myself? What brings me joy in this season, and what's mine to do? And here's what I've learned. The answer changes. And that's okay. Like what was discerned and right for you at 30 might not be right at 40 or 50 or 60 or 70. The life you built with intention might need to be rebuilt with new intention. And that's not failure, that's evolution. That's faithfulness to the truth of who you're becoming. For me, it's a simple, joyful, adventurous life. Not adventure for adventure's sake, but exploring curiosities, trying things, traveling, connecting with mutual friendships, learning, being surprised. That makes me feel like myself. That nourishes my soul. So I structure my life around that, which means I drive a really old car and I live simply and I don't have a big house or an impressive job title. But I have freedom. And most days I have joy. And I have a life that's mine, that fits me, and that honors what God has woven into my DNA. And someone else, their discernment might look completely different. Maybe they're called to putting down roots in one city for decades and decades, to a big, beautiful family, and to the career that requires all of their focus. And that's not wrong. That's their enough. That's their truth. That's their co-creation with God. The problem isn't wanting those things. The problem is wanting them because we think we're supposed to, because everyone else has them, or everyone thinks you finally arrive when you do have them. Discernment is about letting go of all the things we're clamoring for, all the things we think we should want, and getting quiet enough to hear what's actually true, and then having the courage to live that, even when it doesn't make sense to anyone else. Take a deep breath, my friend. Here's what I invite you to do this week. Just notice where you're shoulding on yourself. I should have this by now, or I should want this, or I should be this type of person. Write them down, all of them, or get them out of your head. And then wonder, be curious, ask, where did this should come from? Who said this was true? Is this mine or is this someone else's expectation? But most importantly, as you move about your day, as you wash your dishes and vacuum the floor and drive to work or sit around the table, just ask yourself, what's enough for me? Not what's impressive, not what everyone else has. What's enough? What's enough money? What's enough adventure? What's enough solitude, enough connection, enough work, enough rest? Be specific. This is your definition of enough, not culture's, yours. And then stand where your feet are. Stop looking at everyone else's life. Stop scrolling for comparison. Stop measuring. Look around at the actual terrain and landscape of your life. What's here? What's good? What's working? And between you and the Holy Spirit, see what's here right now, what's good and what's enough. Not only what's missing, not what you wish was different, but what's actually here now in the life you're living. And practice saying, this is enough. About your life, about your choices, about your pace, about your path, about your salary, about your home. This is enough. This is good. This is mine. Even if no one else gets it, even if it doesn't look impressive, even if you're not where you thought you'd be by now, this is enough. I am enough. Say it until you believe it. Let me bring this home. You don't have to arrive anywhere. You don't have to compete with anyone's highlight reel. You don't have to live according to someone else's timeline. You're invited by Jesus, by your own soul, by the still small voice, to co-create a life that's uniquely yours, that nourishes you, that honors what you're actually called to do, that lets you be yourself instead of performing for approval. And yes, it will cost you. It might cost you understanding, approval, fitting in, other people getting it, but living someone else's life costs so much more. And so we follow Christ. And it doesn't always make sense. And it didn't make sense for him either. So I pray you have that sense of what is possible in this abundant life. life. Life that's full, true, and enough. And here's what I've learned. Enough is the sweetest place to be. Not striving, not proving, not arriving, just enough to be myself, enough to follow what's mine, enough to say no to what's not, enough to live simply, joyfully, curiously, freely. So stop shitting on yourself, okay? Stop measuring, stop competing. Stand where your feet are. Look around your actual life and ask what between you and God is right, is good, is enough. And then live that fiercely, freely, without apology. Before we close, let's breathe together. I'm here with you in the letting go, in the choosing, in the finding of enough. And here's my blessing. May you stop shooting on yourself and start listening to what's true. May you discover that enough is not settling, it's freedom. May you co-create a life with God that's uniquely yours, that nourishes your soul, that lets you be yourself without apology. And may you know deep in your bones that you don't have to arrive anywhere. You're already home. You're guided, you are held, you are home. Thank you for listening to Guided. If you want to practice living from enough instead of striving for more, join me at brendabertrand.com, where we come home to ourselves. Until then, take care.